but this is an introductory course to Relationship Selling 101. This is going to be a different way for you to look at the same thing you've looked at over and over and over again. How many times do you pass the same building or the same thing over and over and over again? But you take the same path to work, you take the same path to the office, you take the same path to school, whatever, and you pass the same building over and over and over again, and you don't even notice that they've repainted the outside. Or maybe there's a new business there, or it just doesn't register with you, right? Today, I'm playing pattern interrupter in your life. So today, I'm going to interrupt a pattern, hopefully, to open up your eyes to a new lead source. Okay? Because that was what I said, right? 5 closings, 6 months, without any extra money. How many of you like that? Good idea? All right, let's do that. So Relationship Selling 101. My name is Aaron Dwyer. This is my wife, Christy. This office, y'all, has a ton of memories for me. The second time I ever saw my wife was in this office. Okay, she came to an ambassador training here in Hendersonville. I was in my office. She walked into my office and invited me to lunch or dinner with everybody at the ambassador training. I told her no, that I couldn't do. I was too busy. But this is so. Ed and Janie have a huge part in mine and Christy's life. This office has a special meaning to me. So it's I'm gonna get choked up. It's super cool that you let me come in here and do this. So a little bit about me. So I was born and raised in Nashville. I was a police officer in Nashville for about 13 years. My grandmother was a real estate mogul in Nashville, and I learned how to caulk bathtubs and do plumbing and fix stuff around houses from the time I was 13 years old till whenever she died. I mean, I was the guy that she called when she didn't want to call anybody else, right? When she needed cheap labor, she called me, right? So I learned how to do everything in a house. So because of that, I sort of had this affinity for real estate. Toward the end of my career, I finished my bachelor's degree in 2001, and I decided it's a personality flaw that I have. If I can't be in charge, and number one, I don't want to do it, right? It's a thing that I've got. I didn't want to be the chief of police in Nashville, so there was really no reason for me to be there, right? So I spent 13 years there, finished my degree in '01, and in about 2003, I decided I did not want to be a police officer anymore. But I had a wife and I had kids and I had all those things. I had that every other week paycheck. I had the insurance, I had the security, I had the government job, right? Everything was okay. It was never going to go away. So I decided to get into real estate. Okay? And it started with, and it may be like you, these are people that you talk to, they're people that I talk to, where I started flipping houses, flipped a couple of houses. And the second one, I said, well, if that's all they do, and that's how much money they make, I'm getting my license. Because I promise you, I can do that. Right? I promise you I can do that. So I did. And that was before online school. That was before you could do it online. So I had to go over to Music Valley Drive and go every night in the evening and take my classes. And so I got my license. Okay. My journey is a lot like yours, a lot like the people that you encounter, especially Heather, you, where I had the safety and security. Like I was the sole provider for my family. So I didn't have anybody else that I could fall back on. But I had the safety and security of an every other week paycheck of a full-time job, right? It was very difficult for me to think, okay, I'm just going to jump into this full-time and go commission only. So I started as a part-time agent. And I was part-time for 7 years because I never could pull the trigger, okay? I left the police department, had another W-2 job, kept jobs the entire time. And I had clients that would ask me, what are you doing? Are you a real estate agent? Because I was coaching baseball at the time. I was teaching school. What are you? Because if you're going to help me, I need you to be full-time invested in me, right? That's what your clients want. They want you to be full-time invested in what they need, right? So I did the part-time thing for a while. Finally put a plan together with some help. Put a plan together. My ex-wife said, if you'll put me a plan together and you can tell me how you're going to replace this 6-figure job that you have right now, I'm all for it. Because I went back to her, and of course, again, if I'm not the one in charge, I don't want to do it, right? So when I'm working for somebody else, I'm not the one in charge, and it's just like, I don't want to do this anymore, right? Again, personality flaw. I'm working through it. That was years ago. I think I'm better now. But she says, give me a plan. You give me a plan, and then go do it. And I did. I gave her a plan, and then there was a moment during a sales meeting in July of 2018 when I said, I'm done. I can't listen to this guy speak anymore. I'm out. Closed my computer, walked down the hallway, gave it to them, and I said, boys, I'm out. That was in July 2018. I did $88,000 from July 2018 to the end of July of 2018. I did 87,000 and some change in gross commission in that end of that year. Okay, the next following year I did over 300,000. So my journey is a lot like yours, where you're part-time, full-time. You hit a groove. Okay, you do really well. You become a top producer. Then I was like, you know what? I need to be a team leader. Okay. That's why I came to Exit. And that's what was in that office, was my little Music City home team. Okay. I was a really crappy team leader. I'll just tell you, really crappy team leader. My team leader journey was short-lived. I then bought 4 franchises. So I bought 4 Exit franchises. I owned Bowling Green, Kentucky, Franklin, Kentucky. I owned Hopkinsville, Kentucky, and the west side of Clarksville. Met my beautiful bride, who was also an Exit owner. So she owned 3 Exit offices in Georgia. And we decided we were going to join forces. Okay. So the end of that journey, we were brokers, Exit brokers, over 7 offices. We had 6 in Georgia, and then I had the Mount Juliet, Tennessee location here in Middle Tennessee. So I understand just about everything there is to understand about this business. I sold franchises for Remax. That's where I started. I mean, I've done just about everything there is to do in this business. I'm going to tell you, the reason for this training, let me ask you this. How many phone calls do you get a day where somebody's trying to sell you leads? They're going to sell you the next shiny penny. They're going to sell you the next silver bullet. They're going to sell you the next thing that's going to make you however much money. You just got to give them a little bit, and they're going to make all this money for you, right? I swear, and I don't have this to be proof, but anecdotally, I believe this is true. The real estate industry, real estate agents are the most marketed to segment of industry on this planet. I promise you, doctors don't get called like we do. Attorneys don't get called like we do. Ship builders don't get called like we do. You know why? Do you know why we get called so much? Because we're suckers. We'll buy it. Because this industry and all of that, Zillow, Realtor.com, all these lead sources, they're all based on fear. There are 2 forces in this universe, love and fear. And every one of those lead sources that are going to help you are all built on fear, because they are built on you not believing you have the ability to generate leads. You believing you don't have the business to generate, you don't have the ability to go generate leads. And so they're just going to give you an easy peasy, here you go, right? What are leads? A lead's just somebody to talk to, isn't it? It's just somebody to talk to, right? So what is relationship selling? This is what relationship selling. Relationship selling is a state of the art in selling today. That's a quote from Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy's an author. He wrote Eat the Frog. He wrote The Psychology of Selling. Relationship selling is the new way to sell in 2024. Okay? The quality of the relationship is more important than the product sold. Hear me say that again. The quality of the relationship is more valuable than any commission that you're going to receive. So I want you to remember this. Elevating the value of your relationships needs to be more important than any dollar you're going to make in commission. Now at Exit, you also have an opportunity with your residual income that you can talk to real estate agents, right? You need to value those relationships over any amount of money that you're ever going to receive in commission or residual income. This is relationship selling. This is what we're going to get into today. I'm going to show you how to do this. Now, I promise y'all, this is going to be the building you've driven by 14 times, and you're going to go, there's no way this works. This is so simple. There's not a chance in heck. But I promise you, there is. When I did that 6 months from July to December, and I made $87,000, this is exactly what I did. This is all I did. Okay? And I'm about to share it with you. Relationships build customer loyalty, but you can't be lazy about it. Your relationships will build customer loyalty, but you can't be lazy. Do you agree with this? That some of our finest relationships, our best relationships, our closest relationships are the relationships we take the most for granted. Because we expect they're always going to be there. Your husband, my wife, I mean, how many times does she tell me, dude, you got to pay attention to me? And I'm like, I've been paying attention to you, right? Our closest, most Loving relationships are the ones that we take the most for granted. Okay? Look at these stats. Look at these stats. I'm going to ask you this. How many of you have been in the business longer than 5 years? Okay? Have you ever had this experience? You drive in a neighborhood you've been working. You drive down the street. You look at the house that you sold 2 years ago. And as you drive by the house, you notice there's a yard sign in their front yard. And it ain't yours. Have you ever had that experience? Yes. In this very building, I had that experience. I'm in my office. I walk upstairs. I go into the lobby to go talk to Tina. And as I step into the lobby, I see another agent with a client couple of mine. I'd sold them a house in Hendersonville, had sold their son and daughter-in-law a house in Hendersonville. Okay? And I walk in, and what do you think my reaction was? Here's what it was. What the hell? That was my reaction. What the hell? Right? And they're like, oh my gosh, you're still in Hendersonville. What? Of course. I mean, yes, I live right around the corner from y'all. Right? I've had that experience. But guess whose fault that was? Mine. That was my fault because that was a transaction to me, not a relationship. It was me walking in to the closing table, making my money, hoping they gave me some referrals, and if they didn't, it was okay. I'm going to go on to the next one. Okay? Transactional. And here's this, look at this. 83% of homeowners use their agent only once. 83% of homeowners only use their agent once. A dismal 13% use the same agent more than one time. These are NAR stats. You're like, how? That's impossible. I promise you, those are stats. Look at the reason. The overwhelming reason why homeowners didn't use their agent again is they couldn't remember the agent's name. They couldn't remember the agent's name. Now, is that relationship selling? No, it's walking up and she goes, who are you? I sold your house 3 years ago. You were my client just not too long ago. NAR. But here's the thing. 90% of homeowners say they would use their agent again if they could just remember their name. And if that doesn't give you a spook, I don't know what does.
I was just gonna say it's so true because I'm thinking the person who sold my house, I have no idea what her name was.
And you're in the business.
I'm in the business. I should know her name. I don't remember what company. I know she's sold Franklin Drentwood, but I have no idea who she is. I couldn't even I don't even know how I'd find. I would look at my settlement statement or something. I don't remember. It was only 8, 9 years ago.
And here's the reason why. When life takes over, and it does, when they leave the closing table, their life takes over. Okay? And all the things that they now have to do become a lot more important than keeping up with you and where you are and what you're doing or not doing. Does that make sense? Your life's a lot more important than all the other people out there that are wondering what you're doing. Yes or no? Okay? Relationships will build your bank account balance. If you do it the right way, relationships are the most valuable asset you have in this industry. Bar none. This is a relationship business. This is why AI will never take over real estate. This is why you're never going to get pushed out of the real estate transaction. This is why Zillow couldn't take over where they tried to take over. This is why Realtor.com and Redfin have not been able to take over. Open Doors out now. The reasons they're all gone is because those were transactional models, right? It was an Amazon. It was, I'm going to go buy a book. They're going to send me a book. Move on to the next book. That's how they built those models. And those models don't work in this business because this is a face-to-face, person-to-person relationship business. Yes or no? Okay? Check this out. 38% of home buyers used a recommended agent. Somebody that they remembered, somebody that they knew, y'all do know that you can sling a cat and hit 15 real estate agents in Nashville, right? And I said, in your own neighborhood. I say this all the time. If people say, well, I've already got an agent. If you don't have 4 or 5 agents, you need to make some more friends. Because everybody got a license, right? Millennials, which is the largest buying segment in the United States currently. Millennials, they're bigger than the baby boomers ever were. Millennials have more buying power. There's more of them than there ever were baby boomers. 94% of them will recommend somebody to somebody else, and that's how they go buy their house. So if you're not marketing to the millennial population, if you're not in there face-to-face building those relationships with people, you're missing out. You're missing out on some easy money, okay? And 63% of sellers, y'all know this, sellers are they're going to recommend someone to their friends. Yep. All right. 76% of home buyers and 73% of home sellers would recommend their agent if they could remember who they are. If you could increase your business by 76%, would you be appreciative of that? Okay. If you could add 2 or 3 more deals to your pipeline just for people remembering who you are, would that help your business? Of course it would. Of course it would. All right. So here's the old model. The old path. Okay. This is all outcome based. This is all you getting a check based. Okay. I'm going to share you I'm going to give you my philosophy. Here's my philosophy. And I believe this is my life philosophy, and this is what I'm going to share with you. I believe every one of us are built with a special gift. I believe God, whoever you believe created you, I'm not going to be religious, but I believe that I was created by God. And I believe God endowed me with a special gift. He's made me authentically unique. You can't be me and I can't be you. Okay? My circles are authentically unique to me. They're not your circles. Okay? And I believe God gave me this special gift, this special right, this special birthright that I have to go out and impact the world around me. My little world, my little circle, my community. My job is to find out what my special purpose and meaning is so that I can go and impact those lives. That's what I believe. I believe that to my core. Okay? So my job, my purpose is to help people find the most authentic version of themselves. That's my job. That's why I get up in the morning. That's what I do. That's why I'm here. So my exit journey, when it finally clicked for me, when it wasn't just about me getting 6 or 7 awards, and it wasn't just about me making money, when I finally realized that my job on this planet was to help other people get better, my life completely changed. We went from having 4 agents to having 90 in 18 months. And it wasn't because of me. It was because the people I was pouring into were sharing that message. Okay? So I let money become a byproduct of me helping people walk in their authenticity. I didn't chase the dollars chased me. I valued the authenticity of the people I was working with. I valued their special gift. I valued them walking out in their confidence. And because I valued that and I enhanced that and I encouraged that, they went out and made more money. That's the same thing that can happen to you. You just can't chase the dollars. You got to get to the place where the dollars are chasing you. Make sense? Because the old path is your inwardly focused. What's in it for me? How many selfish real estate agents do you run across in a day? Only if you're talking to them, right? They're very short term. They're very transactional. They have a very finite income. They don't get referrals. They're not referable because it's all about them. I promise you, if you don't think your buyer, your clients don't feel when you're being selfish, I promise you they do. And that's why you don't get referrals. If they feel you're selfish, they're not going to send their friends to you. Okay? Selfish people cut their commission because there's no value. They don't have a value proposition. They have constant competition because everybody's in that boat. Everybody's in that bucket. Okay? There's pressure. You can't read that bottom one because they're number one, baby. But you always have to try to prove your worth. When you have that outcome-based, commission-based mentality, you're always having to prove your worth. You're always having to prove your worth. How many people are doing that right now? I mean, go get on a real estate mastermind page on Facebook and watch that just blow up. Okay? Here's the new path. It's all relationship-based. It's outwardly focused. What's in it for them? How can I make their lives better? Okay? It's long-term. You are part of their life. They're part of your life. It's altruistic. It's not just about the commission. It's, can I send you birthday presents for your kids? Can I remember your dog's birthday? Can I get you something when you're in the hospital? It is a long-term relationship. Okay? The income's unlimited. The income is unlimited because guess what? I don't have Bobby Jean's circle, right? I don't. Right now, I know nobody Bobby Jean knows other than y'all. correct? She hardly knows anybody. I bet she doesn't know anybody that I know, right? But if Bobby Jean likes me and I like Bobby Jean, guess what we do? We expose each other to our circles. Does that make sense? And that's how you expand your circles. But if she feels that all I'm trying to do is get to her circles, guess what she does? Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. That's what I'm trying to get you to get past in this training. Okay? It can't just be about what I'm going to get. What I'm going to get. You've got to start to think about what value can I give. Okay? When you're giving value, there are no commission questions. Commissions are only questioned in the absence of value. Do you agree with that? Or do you disagree with that? If you disagree, I'd love to hear it. Because I promise you, I can tell you right now, what's your name? What Marion pays for a haircut is much more than what I pay for a haircut. Okay? I don't have the same value proposition with my head of hair as she does with hers, yes or no? And if she says, I got to go pay $400 or $500 every couple of weeks to get my hair done, I'm going to be like, girl, that is nuts. That's 2 car payments. Okay? But it's okay for her, and she doesn't mind doing it because it means something to her. Does that make sense? People don't mind spending money when there's value. What they mind is spending money or seeing your commission. When I flipped those houses, what I minded was seeing what work that agent did and then seeing how much money I just paid them to do that little bit of work. Okay? Does that make sense? Is it starting to click a little bit? Okay? You'll have more conversations. And if you have more conversations, you're going to have more closings. That's the way this business works, okay? And your value is constantly perceived. Oh, let me go back to this one because there's something I want you to write this down. 90% of the agents do 90% of the same things. They market their properties the same. They put the same stupid stuff on Facebook. They put the same stuff on social media. They have the same, their key. Look, they're standing in front of the picture at the title company with their key and the 2 people, and they're all smiling. 90% of the agents do 90% of the same things. Okay? What I teach and what I train is how to operate in that 10% differentiator. What I teach and what I train is how you can get out of that 90% and do something 10% different than other people do in this market. Because when you're in that 10% differentiator, there's a value. There's a uniqueness. Okay? Nobody else is doing that. And y'all, it's so easy to do it. But we get lazy. We take our pictures the same way. We market everything the same way. It's the same stuff over. I'm telling you, I will tell you this. I'll never forget this. So as a police officer, you learn how to watch people, right? You pick up on patterns of behavior and how people walk and move, and it's just kind of a sense that you develop over time when you're out there in the mean streets, right? So now as an ex-police officer, like I can pick other police officers out. Like I see them. Like I know what they dress like. I know they talk. I can watch how they walk, how they have their hair cut, all that kind of stuff. I'll never forget this. I was at another company. This was before I came to Exit, and I was going to Exit had a rally. They brought Steve Morris in. He was speaking at the Omni downtown, and I was going to go just to visit, just check out the culture, see if I liked it, for this other company. And I'm driving down Veterans Parkway in Nashville, and I'm like, real estate agent, real estate agent, real estate agent, real estate agent. I can just pick them out. They're the same. They're the same. They walk the same. They dress the same. They have the same ill-fitting whatevers. And I'm just like, yep, right? Don't be that person. That's the point of me saying that is don't be that. Okay? Be uniquely you. Walk in your authenticity. If you can walk in your authentic version of you and walk out in this world in the confidence of who you are, when you don't give a crap if somebody tells you no, yes, who cares? And you just go on to the next and go on to the next and go on to the next. Guess I'm going to give you a secret. You don't need them all. If you had 20 or 30, would that make a pretty good year? It would. There's 6 million transactions that happen in the United States on average every single year. Now this year's a little down because of all the stuff going on, but typically we're 5.5 to 6 million transactions in the United States. I promise there's 20 or 30 out there for you. I promise. And if you could put 20 or 30 together 2 or 3 years in a row, would that make it'd be pretty good, wouldn't it? It'd be pretty good. So I want you to think about that 10% differentiator. Okay, I want you to think about that 10% difference, how you can operate in that 10% differentiator. Okay? All right. People love to buy real estate. They do. There's HGTV. They've got Chip and Joanna. They've got Beverly Hills, whatevers, and Shaw Sunsets. And there's 17,000 real estate shows, and everybody's wondering. They love it, right? You have Beach House Bingo, and they go look at 3 beach houses. They go spend $1 million on a daycare worker's budget, right? It's just like, oh my God, this is fantastic, right? People love to buy real estate. They do. You don't have to sell real estate, do you? You find a client that's motivated, they're going to find a house. They're going to be up all night long, all day long, sending you stuff, and like to the point where you're like, man, quit sending me houses, right? I want to look at 13. You don't have to sell real estate. You have to sell you. You are what's being sold. You are the one that you have to sell, okay? Selling you is the hard part. Selling you is the hard part when you don't know what you're worth. Selling you is the hard part when you're not sure what your value proposition is. Selling you is the difficult step in the journey because you got to figure out what you're worth. Okay? 3 reasons people do business with you. What are they? Know you, like you, trust you. You've heard it forever. Okay? Know you, like you, trust you. People are ready to do business with people they know, companies they know, right? If they like you, they'll spend more money. They'll do business more often, okay? If they trust you, they will carry your card in their front shirt pocket and hand it to everybody they see. Agree or disagree with that? Okay? Now, pretty simple. You've heard this since you've been in the real estate business. But we don't do it. We don't focus here. We just focus here. We do 33% of the work and then we bitch and then we complain and moan because we don't make enough money. We do 33% of the work, and then we complain and moan when we see other people that you're smarter than, better looking than, more intelligent than, making more money than you. And you sit back and go, that's not fair. Okay? We're only doing 33% of the work. Does that make sense? Okay? So I want you to ask yourself a question. Why is it so hard? Why is it so hard for you to generate business? Why is it so? Where are you missing the mark when it comes to generating your real estate business? Why is it so difficult? Why is it so hard? You don't have to answer me. Just ponder that for a second. Here's a process, y'all. Here's your real estate sales process. Now, again, this is a 101 course. This is an introductory course, and every one of these I could do a week. I could do a week on these. Okay. Here's your process: lead generation. Okay. How many of you have enough leads? Nobody does. Nobody ever has enough leads. Okay? Lead generation. Now, that's what Realtor.com and Zillow.com and all these companies will sell you is that this is what you need. You need more leads. And I'm here to tell you, you don't need more leads. You need more you. Okay? Initial contact qualification, right? You make contact, you try to get them on the phone, send them text messages, video text messages, carrier pigeons, rocks through the windows, whatever. You got to get them to pay attention to you. Listen to you out of the noise of everybody else doing it like you're doing it. Does that make sense? Okay. Consultation and agency, you're having a conversation with them. This is where you explain your value proposition. This is where you lay out expectations. This is where they understand what you're going to give, where you understand what they're going to give, and everybody's on the same page going the same direction, right? Property search listing services, you set them up in your system, you're showing them properties, they're wearing you out every single weekend, they're sending you 15 houses in the middle of the night, you're like, oh my God, you can't afford these. All that, right? Offer prep and negotiation. Okay, a lot of us need to get better at negotiation. We're pretty good at offer prepping, but negotiation we could all use a little work on. Offer acceptance. Yay, everybody's happy, unless inspections and contingencies come in, right? Then you have a bad inspection. Then the offer goes away. Then you're managing emotions. Then you're right back at square one, okay? Loan processing and underwriting. Kevin Henderson, back corner, loan processing, lending hand mortgage. He just showed up from UWM in Michigan, so he just flew in, drove here. He's going to be providing lunch later, so y'all make sure that you spend some time with him. Closing prep, referral conversation and collection. I put this here, but y'all, that's the wrong spot to put this. Your referral conversations need to be right here. Your referral conversations need to start at consultation and agency. As soon as you sit down with them and you start laying out the expectations of what you're going to provide, the value that you're going to give them, all the things you're going to do for your client, your expectation from them is you're going to, Bobby Joe, Bobby Jean, you're going to introduce me to your friends. That's the deal. I'm going to bust my tail for you. I'm going to put you in the exact house you want to be in. It's going to be the best thing that's ever happened to you. I'm going to make sure your family's set up for years and years and years to come because I'm going to put you in exactly the right position you need to be in. Okay? And all I'm asking in exchange for that is you introduce me to some of your friends. Okay? And we're going to talk about this whole process. Okay? That's where you start it. But too many of us at the closing table do this. Will you write down some people that you know before you leave? And it's you know what they're doing at the closing table? Man, give me my keys, bruh. Give me my keys and let me get in my house. I got a moving truck in the street. Let's go, right? And you're going to call them the next week and say, hey, can you give me some referrals? We're moving. We're busy. Kids throwing up. Oh, my gosh. I'll call you back. You're never getting them again, okay? So you start this process in the beginning. Does that make sense? I want you to think about this a little bit differently. But you start that process in the beginning. Yes? Okay. Again, 73% of buyers and sellers will recommend you to their friends if you're valuable, if they trust you. No, trust you. Trust you. Because I promise you, there are people that like me, they won't refer me to their friends. My mama likes me, but she didn't let me sell her house. Okay? Now, another story, another day. That's another one for another day. But my point being, they have to trust you. Before you become truly referable, they have to trust you. Okay? Next page. Closing day, happy day. Everybody's joyous. We have the key. We're with our lender. We're sitting there with big smiles, whatever. Happy closing. Look at what I did, right? I want you to think about that closing day picture. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is for you. But I want you to think about that a little bit differently. How can you add more value, okay, to the buying public in that moment? Because that moment it's an important moment, right? That closing, some of those are really hard. Like some of those at the closing table, you're doing all you need just to stand up. You're like, oh my God, I'm so glad to be out of this, right? And it may be that you don't ever want to see them again. It could be that, look, birds of a feather flock together. Okay, your grandmama told you birds of a feather flock together because that's true. And if this person is a difficult client, their friends are going to be just like them. Okay, I'm just going to tell you. So sometimes you just got to walk away from it and say, yeah, just don't ever call me again. Lose my number, please. But I want you to think about that closing day picture. Okay, maybe your caption's a little different. Maybe there's something else you can do. I've seen some that are pretty cool, where they're actually at the house. You know, they're helping them move in. It's not just give me my check, take a picture. Okay, we'll see y'all. Right? It's not that. Because that's what happens more times than not. Would you agree or disagree? I've been there. I mean, I've been the dude grabbing the check and running. Okay? Because a lot of times I got to get to the bank to put it in the bank because I got stuff coming in. Right? Because we had that problem as well. Follow-up and post-closing. We are awful at follow-up and post-closing. We are horrendous at follow-up and post-closing because, if you remember that slide a second ago, it's all outcome-based. We've been raised to sell outcome-based. And when the outcome's finished, when the transaction's completed, there's no more reason for me to be involved in it. You got to shift this just a little bit. Okay? You got to shift this. Are y'all following me? Is everybody with me? Kind of know which direction we're going? You're like, why in the hell are you telling me this? Because you know this, right? You know what this process is, right? You know what it is. You do it every single day. You know what this looks like. So now what? Okay? You ever sat at your desk? Most of you probably work from home. You don't come to the office anymore. Nobody comes to the office anymore. We have all this overhead. Nobody comes in. So you're sitting at home and you're sitting there and you ask yourself that question. Well, who am I going to call? Who am I going to call today? And then that fear starts creeping in, and you're thinking, oh my God, I'm never going to have another real estate transaction the rest of my life. Oh my God, maybe I need to pay Zillow. Maybe I should give them some money to give me some leads because I've got nobody to call. You ever had that conversation with yourself? I promise you I have. I promise you I've sat at my desk and thought, who in the heck am I going to call today? All right. So the first step in that process was lead gen, right? You have to have people to talk to. Lead generation is the skill of what? Finding people to talk to. Just finding people to talk to about real estate. That is lead generation. How many of you struggle with finding people to talk to? You don't. You've been doing it since you were born. You've been doing this for whatever reason. We get in this business, and the only thing we need to do is go talk to more people, and we freeze up and go, well, I can't talk to people. Okay? What? I want you to feel this emotion with me. Okay? I want you to feel this. On this piece of paper, there are 1,000 names. And in this 1,000 names, there are 5 transactions, each of which are worth $1 million each. That's $30,000 to you. So on this piece of paper, there's $150,000 of commission. Okay? What's your name? Deanna. So if I hand this piece of paper to you, Deanna, there's 1,000 names. You don't know which 5 are in that 1,000 names. They're going to be the $1 million. I'm just guarantee you, in this 1,000 names, there are 5 that are worth $150,000 to you. When do you quit?
Until you're done.
You'd say that, and that sounds like it's a good answer, right? But here's what happens. When you get to about 25 or 30, and everybody's told you no, that list is no good. That is a piece of crap list. Okay? I don't know what your quitting point is, but a lot of folks are quitting in about 25 or 30 names. There aren't if it's the last 5, there's probably 0.5% of people who would, if it's the last 5 names, not me, because I always start at the end. So if it's the last 5, I'm getting them first, because I read magazines from the back cover. I'm weird like that. If they're at the end, I'm getting them, because those are my first 5 I'm calling. But do you agree with that? Do you feel that? Somewhere in this, there's a number. And right now, she said, I'd call all of them. But she's not. Because guess what we hate to hear? No. No. Watch this. No. 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 None of you blew up. You didn't catch on fire. There's no spontaneous combustion happening. It's just a word. It's just a word. Okay? And what I'm about to share with you, I promise you, for some of you, it's going to blow your mind. For some of you, you're going to act like there's no way it's true. This can't happen. It's too easy, right? But what I'm about to show you is going to blow your mind. Okay. Leads come from various sources. Okay? Referrals, online marketing, networks, advertising, walk-ins, events, Facebook, social media, whatever, right? Church, school, leads. Leads are just people to talk to about real estate. That's it. And I've already told you, people love talking about real estate, don't they? They make TV shows about it. That's how much they love it. Okay? Paid leads are free or free leads. How many of you pay for leads right now? Where do you get your leads from?
Here at the office.
Okay?
Yes.
Same here. So y'all have a lead program at the office. You pay for leads. Is that like a monthly thing? Or is that per lead? Like you convert a lead, a percentage? Gotcha. A lot of companies have that. Okay? A lot of companies have that. Nearly 60%, so don't feel bad, because nearly 60% of agents spend somewhere between $50 and $500 a month on leads. Okay? Largest group spends between $50 and $250 a month on their leads. Okay? This will freak you out. Do you see the bottom? You already saw it? What's the average GCI for a real estate agent annual, not monthly, annual GCI for a real estate agent in 2023? Can you see that? $8,100. $8,100 was the average GCI. This is from NAR. Guess what, y'all? This went down. It was more in 2022. It's only $9,100. Don't freak out. It's only $9,100. If you're spending $2,500 a year on leads, but you're only going to make $8,000, that's a really poor return on investment. Agree or disagree? Yeah. That's awful. BT dubs. That's awful. That's terrible. Yeah, it was $9,600 last year. So 2022 was only $9,600. So, all right. So here's my myth buster. Okay, I've never paid for leads my entire career. I never have paid for leads. I'm not saying it's bad or good. I just never did. For me, I was trying to do this on a shoestring budget when I started this business. So for me, buying leads just wasn't anything that I could afford to do. Okay. So let me show you here the myth of paid leads. Now, paid leads can come from anywhere, right? Zillow, pay-per-click ads, Facebook ads, boosted ads, realtor.com, homes.com, Office can set it up. You've got OpCity. There's 700 million lead sources. But guess what? They're all the same names. They're not making new people somewhere, right? They have the same, however many people are in the United States, however many people are going to buy a house, it's that same bucket, correct? And Zillow says, I'm going to scoop this bucket out. And then OpCity says, well, give me some of that. And then Realtor.com says, well, I'm going to take some of those. And they package them differently. And they sell them to you based on you being fearful, sitting in that chair saying, I'm never going to find anybody else to call. I'll never have anybody else to call my entire life, right? And they operate on your fear, get you to spend $10, $15, $20, $30,000 a month to buy leads, okay, that you're going to have the chance to sell your odds, 1,600 to 1. If I hand you 1,000 names, there are people in those leads that are going to buy a house. Promise, there are people in that list that are going to buy a house. But the odds are not in your favor. Okay? Because here's how this works. Look at Google AdWords. Google AdWords, okay? So AdWords, Google pay-per-click, okay? So if you have a CRM that's got you a pay-per-click or you're going to put Google AdWords or create, you've heard Google Ads, right? Those, what they do, just like every lead aggregator, they scoop a bunch of names, okay? And they put them at the top of a funnel. You've got a 5% of those names they put at the top of that funnel are going to turn into somebody that has some interest in real estate. Because Google AdWords use a lot of words like, I'll never forget this. We were running Google ad campaigns in Georgia, and we would get bait shop, boat sales, because we had lake in the name of our company, and they would send us everything around the lake. So like people come, y'all have minnows? Y'all got shrimps? Yeah. How can I get a boat down there? Dude, do you not read what I'm doing for a living, right? So you have a 5% chance of turning those into a lead, okay? And then you have a 10% chance of turning those into a client, okay? So on average, you're going to spend about $5,000, okay? $5,000 per customer to get one out of that bucket. You're going to spend $5,000, okay? Facebook's a little more. So Facebook now, everybody thinks Facebook's the way to go. Everybody puts stuff on Facebook. It's free advertising. It's free, blah, 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 blah. I'm here to tell you, I'm not a big fan of advertising on Facebook. I just think Facebook advertising it's be out there, be seen. But I look at Facebook like a bus bench, right? You ride by, they see your face. They see you in real estate. They ride by it enough times, they'll go back. They may remember your name. They may remember your face and that you're in real estate. I think the same way about Facebook. So you have a 2% chance of turning visitors into leads. And then of those people that say yes, right, you got a 20% of converting those. Okay, I told you wrong. This will get you about $5,000. These customers are worth about $5,000, and then the Facebook ad, typically those guys are worth about $8,000. So let's do some math. Okay, so here we go. Because here's the unknown. The unknown is how much money are you going to have to spend at the top of that funnel? How much money are you going to have to invest? How many no's are you going to have to hear before you finally get a yes? Now, if this list is free, not a big deal. But if those 1,000 names cost you $10 a piece, now the math starts to not work. Now it's getting a little harder to make this work, okay? Because now we're looking at revenue, cost, and profit, which most of us as real estate agents have zero idea what that is, right? We just commission, spend it. You owe the government $25,000 in taxes. What? So the unknown is how much you're going to have to spend to get the yeses. How many no's you're going to have to hear to generate that yes, okay? I'm not saying don't try paid leads if you want to try paid leads. I'm just telling you I wouldn't rely on them, okay? Let that be a 1/7 of your business, an 1/8 of your business, a 1/10 of your business. Do not rely on paid leads. But I promise y'all, I've had so many conversations with real estate agents, and the first question they want to ask me is, do y'all provide leads? Do y'all provide leads? Yeah, I'll give you here. We gave a group of people 13,000 names to call. A group of 4 agents, 13,000 names to call. They lasted 2 days. They lasted 2 days. They didn't call it 2 days. They were done. What you do with those? And then they're complaining about not having enough business. And the numbers that I'm about to show you, and what the exercise we're about to do, when I show you this, okay, you just got to believe. Like when you came downstairs and you picked that chair, did you have any doubt that chair was going to hold you up? No. Most of us just pick the chair up, we sit down, like, yep, that's going to hold me. If you thought the chair may not hold you up, you'd probably give it a little shake. You might even pick another chair, right? Usually, I'm going to put that one. That doesn't look as sturdy as I need it to look, right? When that doubt starts to creep in, we start going past, looking past, trying to find the next thing, okay? When we start to doubt what we're doing, we have some fear and trepidation, we'll push back, okay? It's a fear response. Cortisol gets released in your body when there's a fear response, okay? And your responses are fight, run, or freeze. You ever had this experience? I know you have. You came to exit. I know this because I was an exit broker. You came to exit. You got all this information. You had all these websites. You got all this stuff. You got to sign up for this. You got to do this. Here's your email address. You do all these things. And you're so excited. You have a conversation with Heather. You're fired up about coming to exit. You think, man, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me. It's great, right? She sends you that email. And you sit in front of your computer and you go, nope, not doing anything of it. And then Heather gets with you 3 weeks later and says, hey, did you set this up? Did you do this? I didn't see the email. Did you do this? No, I hadn't done that one yet. I didn't see that. Okay? When we get overwhelmed, which is easy to do in this business, when we get overwhelmed, it releases cortisol as well. So we'll have that same fear response when overwhelm hits us. Okay? I just need you to believe this is going to work for you like you believe that chair is going to hold you up. When when the fear and the doubt creep in, you just got to tell it to shut up. Because that's that same little voice that tells you all the time that you ought to be doing something else. That's that same little voice all the time that tells you, you might not be cut out for this. You have to tell that little voice to hush. I got stuff to do. Okay? I got stuff to do. All right. So we look at this. Let's see if I miss anything. NAR. Here's NAR stats. NAR stats say out of 1,000 names, you'll sell 4 to 12. If you're really good, you'll get 12. If you're bad, you'll get 4. So out of 1,000, you're going to have to go through 996 no's or 988 no's. How many of you have signed up for hearing no 988 times to get 4 or 5 deals? Nobody. I promise you, nobody. What we see is that it's on TV and they picked a beach house in 35 minutes. This is my business. And they put that commission about Ryan. See, Searhat made how much on that building? In one deal? Psh, sign me up. It cannot be that hard. Okay? How many of you have experienced it is that hard? Okay? It's super easy. It's an easy business. It's just, take that back. It's a simple business. It's not an easy business. Okay? And what I'm about to share with you, when we get to this point, the simplicity of it, don't look past it. I'm just warning you, don't look past the simplicity of it. Okay? All right, so let's do a little bit of math here. Just to show you what we're talking about, okay? Because at the end of the day, real estate is just numbers. It's just a numbers game. If you talk to enough people, if you hear enough no's, you're going to hear yeses. So my first sales job I ever had, it was terrible. It was awful. Commission only. I left the police department, didn't have any money. I was sitting on the back porch. I hadn't worked in 11 days. I'll never forget this. Had a house in Hermitage. I'm on the back porch sitting on the deck. Hadn't worked in 11 days. Didn't have any money. No savings. Wasn't sure what I was going to do. Saw an ad. So there were papers, right? Saw an ad in the paper. Answered the ad in the paper. Did the interview. It was a group interview. There was 15 people in the interview interviewing at the same time, talking about themselves in front of all these other people that I didn't know, right? Get the job. Hate it, but I was really good at it. I was really, really good. It was a terrible sale, but I was really, really good at it. Hit a little slump. And my ex-wife said, she goes, look, you don't have, just what I told y'all, and this is true, this is sales. You don't have to have them all. You just have to have enough. You have to have what you need to be happy, right? But if you look at this and you look at this is what she was telling me. For every 3 or 4 people that tell you no, you get a yes. So if I were you, I would just go get more no's. Just go through as many no's as you can get. There's a book out called Go for No. If you haven't read the book Go for No, you should read Go for No. It's a fantastic book. And basically, it's a story of a dude who decided he was just going to go get as many no's as he could get. And it changed his life because he wasn't afraid to hear no. The reason we're afraid to hear no is we value other people's opinions of us more than we value ourselves. And when no doesn't matter anymore, it's like, rock on, sis, let's go. Okay? It's time for the next one. You agree with that? Yeah. So, because here's the deal. If you do this math, and Heather's probably done this with most of you, you're going to have a goal, an income goal, a transaction goal, 10, 100,000. Most of you, if you've never made 100,000, your first goal is always 100,000. I'm going to tell you, that's a crappy number. It is a crappy number. Don't do it. Make it bigger. Make it bigger. Make it 130. Make it 150. Because if you've never made six figures, man, if I could just make $100,000, that's going to be great. I'll never forget that. That was my life. When I was a police officer all those years, I said, man, if I could ever make six figures, my life would be fantastic. And I finally did it. And guess what? My life didn't change. It was not fantastic. I barely made it. Okay? Luckily for me, I've been around some people who have changed the way I look at the world and changed the way I look at things. And I look at them, and I look at me, and I look at them, and I look at me, and I say, if that dude can do that, I can do it. Okay? And he's not making 100,000. He's making $1 million. So I don't want you, if you've never made six figures and you're in this business and you said, I want to make $100,000, I want you to kick that down. It's a stupid can. It's empty. Kick it down the road and do 150. Do 175. Push yourself. Okay? Because it's just about talking to more people. So let's do this. So how many of you have a transaction goal? What's your transaction goal?
This year, 18.
How close are you?
Probably about halfway there.
Okay. Halfway there, you got to get on the gas a little bit. Give me a 2025 goal.
It needs to be higher.
Well, of course it needs to be higher. Let's go. Okay, 24 for the 2025. Write that down. What's your transaction goal or income goal?
Transaction goal for this year was 10.
Okay, where are you?
2.
Okay. What is it for next year?
20.
15.
15.
Write it down. 15. 2025, 15. Transaction goal?
7.
This year? What's next? Well, where are you?
3.
You're halfway there. Almost there. What's next year's?
10.
12. Transaction goal.
Oh, this year was 15.
Okay. Where are you?
About halfway there.
Okay.
Next year, I'd like to do 30.
I like it. Heather?
My transaction goal is like 25.
How close are you?
I think I'm probably at 25.
Had a girl. What's next year's? Less? Yours should be less. Yours should be less.
Yeah, I don't know. I need to make a goal.
You got to. You're probably at that spot. You're probably in that little intersection right now between make my people better or make money, right? And that's a hard spot. Been there, done that. It's hard to do both. It's hard to do both. So if you need some help, I'm going to help you with that. So transaction goal, right? So to get a transaction goal, right? You're to do 20 transactions, 30 transactions, 40 transactions. How many people do you have to talk to? How many conversations? Do you know how many conversations you need for that transactions? How many conversations you have to generate one transaction? How many is yours?
Oh, it's at least 100.
Okay, so you're not real sure.
At least.
Okay.
Because it could be like one call and it's a hit, and then next thing you know, you're like, 100 calls into it, and you're still scratching at the wall.
Okay. So divide whatever your 2025 is, divide that number by 0.05. So divide that number, get your phone out, and divide that number by 0.05. 480? Write those numbers down.
300.
Write them down.
600.
Okay. Got it? Okay. These are unique conversations about real estate. You got to have that many conversations to do those transactions. Now, if I told you all you had to do, tell me your name one more time. Marion. If I said 2025, to reach your income goal, All you got to do is have 240 unique conversations. Divide 240 by 10. All of you divide that number by 10, because I want you to take off 2 months. 24. You only have to have 24 unique conversations per month to make your income goal, to make that transaction goal. Hear that? How doable are 24 how easy would it be for you to have 24 conversations a month? If you divide that by 30, it's less than a conversation a day. Okay? It's just numbers, y'all. So listen, this is a contact sport. Real estate is a contact sport. Okay? You've got to have contacts. Remember, leads are just people to talk to about real estate. You have people right now that you can talk to about real estate. Right now, without spending a dollar. Okay? Conversations. I just showed you how many unique conversations you need to have about real estate to reach those income goals. So to get from 12 to 24, you just got to double that. You have to have 48 a month. Okay? To double that, you just have more conversations. Does that make sense? It's super, super easy. Here's the conversation piece, though. When you're talking about relationship selling, when you're talking about this lane that I'm trying to lead you down, these conversations are not about what am I going to get from you. These conversations are about you actively listening to your clients. These conversations are about you having empathy for the situation that they're in. These conversations are about you being the authentic version of who you are. Being confident. Being okay being told no. Okay? Finding common ground. Y'all been doing this since you were kids. Right? You find the people that you like. Birds of a feather flock together. Agree or disagree? It should be easy to have conversations with people you like. Right? But it's not. We all complain and moan and worry that we don't have enough people to talk to when you have tons of people to talk to. Okay? And appointments. Appointments where you get face-to-face. Y'all know about appointments. You get face-to-face, you're belly-to-belly, you're eye-to-eye, right? Contact sport. The more of these you have, this is all this business is about. It is a numbers game. If I go back to that other slide, you put enough stuff, right? You put enough stuff right here, you're going to have a lot coming out of the bottom. You don't have very many up here, there's not much coming out of the bottom. Okay, that's why they call it a funnel. All right, so here's your secret. How do you convert more leads? Because leads are just people to talk to about real estate, right? We've determined leads are just people to talk to. The more people you talk to, the more closes you generate. Anybody disagree with that? If you disagree with it, raise your hand. I'm happy to debate it with you. But the more conversations you have, the more money you're going to make. That's just the way this business works. Okay? So here's your industry average based on 500 leads. So based on 500 leads, you should be able to generate 12 appointments. So 500 unique conversations. You have 500 unique conversations about real estate. You should have 12 appointments. If you're awful, if you're terrible, you should generate 3 closings out of that. So if you look at just being bad, not improving your skills, being like everybody else, walk around with that 90% of the similarity with everybody else in this business, out of 500 leads, you should be able to generate 3 closings, which is more than what I gave you, because I gave you 1,000, and I told you there's 5 in here. Okay? So, anybody disagree with that? Everybody we're on the same page? Everybody's good? Okay? Now, are you thinking yet? Well, where am I going to get these people? Has that crossed your mind yet? Have you thought about that? Where all these people I got to talk to, where are they coming from? Has that crossed your mind yet? Anybody? Without paying for leads? Nobody? Okay. Y'all the second group I've done this with, so I'm just trying to figure it out where it starts to happen. Okay. Why do you think?
I'm wondering, like, 500 people. I mean, I guess I could walk over to Kroger and that's what I was thinking. Like, just as you go. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
What are leads? You're just people to talk to. They're just people to talk to.
Oftentimes, if you have on your name badge, people are going to talk to you. So there's another contact that you
Yeah,
have.
yeah. Especially if you wear it upside down. I've heard. Don't do that. That's so super cheesy. That's so super cheesy. so. So I used to be a little more cheesy than I am right now, and I'm not saying I'm not cheesy because I am still kind of cheesy. But when I was really trying to generate a lot of real estate business, I bought plaid jackets. So I would go buy the loudest plaid jackets I could find, like pink and red. They were just ugly and grotesque. I had to wear them out so people would talk to me. Because they would. They'd make fun of me. They'd laugh. They'd come, man, where did you get that jacket? And it was conversations. Okay? Just conversations. Right? 10% differentiator. I promise you. That's what I teach. That's what I train. That's what I try to do is I want to be 10% different than everybody else out there. Okay? So, write this down. We all want it to be easy, do we not? We do. The microwave was created so dinner didn't take so long. I'll never forget when the microwave, we got our first microwave when I was a kid. I'll never forget it. It was enormous. It was as big as this table. And it had like this dial, this dial on you. And there was a whole cookbook with it. You could cook turkeys. And I mean, it was just like, oh my God, this thing, it'll cook a turkey in like 2 minutes. It's fantastic. And everything was awful. Everything that came out of that microwave is awful. And now they're telling us microwave food is horrible for you because of all the radiation in the food and how it reacts to the plastic. And don't put anything in the microwave. Don't cook anything. Just kick your microwave to the curb. Use it for bombs and stuff. I'm just teasing. Don't do that. Do not do that. I'm just playing. But the point is, we all want it easy. Right? We want to be skinny fast. We want to eat fast. We want our deals to come fast. We want it all to come fast. But guess what? In nature, if it comes fast, it goes fast. Okay? You go buy an annual and put it in your yard, it doesn't take long for that to die. Right? It ain't there to be, it's not there. It's just to be pretty just for a second. Okay? Just be pretty for a second. Just long enough for people to take pictures of it, then it's going to die. Right? If it comes fast, it's going to go fast. So what I'm telling you and what I'm about to tell you is this business, this relationship selling 101, this new way to look at things, this long-term altruistic view, it may not be as fast as you want it to be. That's why you need to do other things in your business. That's why you can't just rely on paid leads or this source or that source. You have to have multiple sources so they're all working at the same time. You ever heard of diversification of funds? Yeah. Right? That's so you have a lot of lead sources. That's so you have a lot of money sources. That's so the money comes from a lot of different directions, right? And if this one dries up, you still got this coming in. Okay? Same principle. All right. I want you to write this down. It's going to take 7 to 15 touches for someone to take action. You're going to have to hear no 7 to 14 times before they decide to make a move and tell you yes. Even the people you know, even the people you like that might like you, and even the people that trust you, it's going to take 7 to 15 touches to get them to take action. It's very rare that I give you the list and the first person says, yes, please. I've been waiting for you to call. We literally have our boxes. I mean, we are almost packed all the way. I've just been sitting here waiting for an agent to call me. That ain't going to happen. Okay? It's not going to happen. Right? So we have to, 7 to 15 touches. 7 to 15 touches. This is a contact sport. You have to be in this game every single day. Every single day. You can't take a day off. Okay? Here's another one of my little things. Small things done consistently over time make enormous impacts. I'll say it this way. Small, seemingly innocuous, unmeaningful, non-impactful things that you do consistently over time make enormous impacts. But guess what nature does? Nature says that works in a good way, but it also works in a bad way. Because if you don't do things consistently over time, it's going to make enormous impacts. Okay? All right. Database integrity. What does this mean? Because what I'm about to unleash on you means you've got to have a system. You're going to have a way to set this up. You've got to have a way to put this in a box. Don't put it in a box, y'all. My wife puts it in boxes, and she never finds the stuff she puts in the box. I'll never forget this. So my wife and I could not be more different. I promise you, we are, Kevin Henderson knows both of us. We could not be more different than anybody on the planet. Like, I go in a room, you would think I'm very, I'm an extrovert, but I'm not. I'm truly an introvert. This is just what I like doing. So I'm passionate about doing this. But if I go into a situation where I don't know anybody, I'll be the dude that's sitting over here in the corner until I figure out who I like and who I don't like. Okay. And then once I figure out who I like and I don't like, then I'll go hang out. My wife walks in, grabs both tables, and starts flipping them over. She walks down the aisle and says, "I'm here." Okay. That's my wife. And that's how she did her real estate business. Okay, she just walks through, just grabs people, says, "Come do business with me." So when I met her, I'm a big systems guy, and I teach systems, and I believe for you, systems are imperative. Your database integrity is the most important asset you have, other than your authenticity. This is the second most important asset you have in the real estate business is your database. Do you know that when someone buys an insurance company, they buy their database, they buy their book of business? You realize this is where your value is in your business. So if you ever built a strong enough business with enough people and you ever wanted to sell it and get out of it, this would be what you'd be selling. You would be selling your list of names, your clients, your database. Okay? Your database is defined as an organized set of information. So a real estate database is an organized set of data, okay, related to buying and selling property. It is not Post-it notes in my wife's truck that she has scattered everywhere with names and phone numbers on napkins and 17. I swear to gosh, my wife buys notebooks and bags like literally, like most of you probably buy pencils and pens. There are notebooks everywhere. Like when she goes to an event and they give free notebooks and pens away, put these in the plane. Baby, they're not going to let us fly with those. We're going to ship those back, right? She loves notepads and she has stuff scattered everywhere. She knows where it all is. Don't get me wrong. She knows where everything is. I'll never forget this. I threw away a plastic fork in a wrapper in the middle of her console. I was cleaning her truck out because it was awful. And I'm like, I can't ride in this. So I threw the fork in the trash, which is what I typically do with unused plasticware in my car. I throw it in the trash, okay? Not joking. God is my witness. We were at an event in Hendersonville. We were eating chili dogs at this event because they were making them, and they ran out of forks. She said, "I'm okay. I got a fork in my truck." She knew it was in there, but what she didn't know is that I'd thrown it away. She goes to the truck, opens the console, looks for the fork, and it's not there. I hear, "Aaron, where's my fork?" Baby, I threw it away. It was plastic. Sorry. I'll get you the plastic fork. That's why, and so then I had to hear it, right? That's why I leave all this stuff. Don't mess with my stuff, right? So I'm telling you right now, from the jump, if I have any influence over your real estate business at all, don't put plastic forks in your middle consoles and don't have your database scattered around on Post-it notes and napkins. Okay? I'm going to go one further. You can have it in an Excel or a CSV file, but that just needs to be for just to have. Okay? Don't work off of that. At exit, you've got CRMs to use. That is your database. It's going to do things for you. If you don't know how to use your CRM, go to the class. Okay? Your database is the second most important asset you have in this business. Consistently marketing to your database is one of the most effective ways you have to increase your chances of growing your business. Okay? You're also going to increase the likelihood of your repeat and your referral business because when you set them up on a campaign in your CRM, they see your face after the closing. They get a birthday card when their dog turns 4. Okay? They get an anniversary card from you. Okay? We're getting here. Y'all stick with it. We got 30 minutes and we're gonna get here. So now you're like, yeah, so what? How many of you have your database put together? It's good to go. You rock and roll it every single day. It is. Fantastic. Because most people don't. I don't think mine's even fantastic. Okay. Every one of you on your desk have the single most powerful database that's ever been created in the history of man, and that is your telephone. Okay? I don't want you working off of your telephone constantly. I want you to have it in your CRM. Your CRM is going to have an app. Okay? That app's going to be on your phone. But never before in human history have we had more information in the palm of our hand as we do right now. You can do anything from your phone, yes or no? Matter of fact, we can do too much from our phone. Matter of fact, we're getting lazy and saying, if there's not an app for it, I don't want to do it. Yes or no? Right? If they're not going to make an app for it, it's not worth me doing. The most powerful database in the history of real estate is in your hand. You've had it in your hand since you started this business. All the people that you have collected over the years are in this phone. Okay? Your telephone is a collection of names, numbers, information about all the people who may know you, who may like you, and a strong possibility they might trust you. Would you agree with that or disagree with that? Raise your hand if you have a homeless person's name and phone number in your phone. A homeless person, I said it. Someone who doesn't own a house, who doesn't live in a house, who may live under a bridge. Do you have any of those folks in your phone? Bobby Jean says she has one. She stopped by, she's got one. She goes by and gives them a sweater every now and again in the winter. Okay?
I didn't know what you were saying.
I said it too fast, sorry. Most of you do not have a homeless person's name in your phone. Which means everyone in your phone lives in something that you peddle for a living. Yes or no?
I didn't think you meant that. I thought you meant that.
I said it fast. Sometimes I can't talk.
That hasn't bought a home.
An actual homeless person under a bridge.
Oh, didn't know.
Like, they don't have a chance. They have a closing next week. Their stuff's on the U-Haul. Their stuff's in a bucket. Like, a milk crate. Okay. All right, everybody go on your phone. Find the little contact, the little app on your phone that's contacts. And I want you to click that little face. How many of you have an Android? Any Android user other than Kevin? He's a weird dude. You're so weird.
I have both.
Okay.
I can work with them.
All right, go to contacts. You should have a little delineation that says all contacts. So go back one list. You show them to the list. Yep, all contacts. Write that number down. Bobby Jean has 1,904. How many do you have?
342.
Write that down.
1330.
Write them down.
977.
Write it down. Write that number down. Okay. Kevin, how many do you have in your phone?
How many contacts?
Yeah. You know, wager a dinner?
You add them up one by one.
You need an app. That's why he needs an iPhone.
Yeah, he's on a Droid.
5,420 in mine.
Oh, what?
5,420. Okay? Good gosh, exactly. 5,420. Okay, so you wrote your contact number down, right? All right. How many appointments do you think that's going to generate for you? Let's do some math. Let's play with this a little bit, okay? That number in your phone, whatever that number was that you wrote down, I want you to multiply that times 0.8. And write that number down. Now, this number represents the people you know, maybe, and the people that may know you, maybe. Of that 5,420 of those, I probably don't know every one of them. They've somehow made it into my phone. I don't know how, but I don't probably know all of them. That's probably the same in your phone. You've got people's names and phone numbers in your phone that you probably don't know necessarily, right? So that number represents that, okay? These are people that you know. What are the 3 reasons people do business with us?
You like you, trust
Okay? So if they know you, you're 33% of the way there. You've got leads right now on your piece of paper. A number. How many is yours, Bobby Jean?
1523.
She's got 1,523 people. She's 33% of the way there with 1,500 people. Okay? Make sense? Follow me? So that number, I want you to multiply that times 0.75. Write that number down. Now, this is completely anecdotal. I don't have this. I've done a little bit of research on this. These are the people that probably still like you. So I'm going to eliminate 25% of the people that know you Because I promise you, that 5,400 people, there's a bunch in that phone that don't like me anymore. And there's probably a bunch in my phone that I don't like either. Okay? So this 75% number represents, okay, the people that you like or may like you. Okay? So now we're how far of the way down the road? If it's know you, like you, trust you, and we've already got know and like, how far are we down the road? We're 2/3, we're 66% of the way there. We ain't got much more to go. Follow me? Okay, what's your number? Well, tell me your name again. Hope, tell me your name. What's your number?
Where I'm at right now?
Yeah.
587.
587 people that Hope knows and that she may or may not like, and they may or may not like her. So she's got 500 people right now that she's 66% of the way there. We know they're not homeless. We know they don't live under a bridge. They live in exactly the thing that you do for a living, that you allow people to buy and sell, right? So we don't know if they need shoes or not, but we know they have a house. They're going to live in a house, right? They're there. They're right there in your hand, okay? So that number I want you to multiply times 0.15. Percentage-wise, these are the people that are going to have a real estate need in the next 30, 60, 90 days. So circle that number. Marianne, how many is that for you?
I got 30.78.
So she's got 31 people in her phone right now who probably have a real estate need. The likelihood of them having a real estate need is very, very high in the next 30, 60 to 90 days. All she has to do is get through this list and find them. You're 66% of the way there. Okay? Now take that number, and I want you to multiply that times 0.25. Because we know of all the people that have real estate needs, your chances of closing them are about 25%. Okay? What's that number for you right now?
7. Well, actually, 8 around it.
Okay? What's your number?
22. 43.
6.
That's how many deals you have in your phone right now. That's how many deals you have in your phone at this very moment if you'll just start working this system. You can add 6 deals right now. I told you I'll get you 5 in the next 180 days. I guarantee you I'd get you 5 in the next 180. I'll get you 5 in the next 6 months. If you'll work this system over the next 6 months, I promise you, you will have these deals in your pocket. They're in your phone right now. You just got to find them. You just got to find them. Okay? Who doesn't believe me? Pretty simple, isn't it? That's a pretty simple deal. How many of you ever looked at your phone? Your phone's sitting there on your desk. You're having this conversation with yourself. And you're sitting there going, who am I going to call? And your phone's right there.
So true.
And there's 5,000. And listen, some of them may be real estate agents. That's okay. Because in your business and it's your company, you have residual incomes. So even if they're real estate agents, it's still okay. Okay? You can still have conversations with them about that. If they live out of state, do you think you have any out-of-state homeless people in your phone? The answer is probably no. The answer is probably no for most of you. Okay? How many of you have ever worked referrals and out-of-state referrals? How much fun is it to get an $8,000 check in the mail when you've done nothing but introduce them to somebody? Those are the best. Do you know I went years in this business and put no effort toward that? Like if they weren't in the market that I could work, my mind was so closed that I never paid attention to, they live in houses too. Okay? In your company, you have twofold benefit. 1, real estate business. 2, there are exit offices all over the country. Okay? There's a twofold benefit. This is business you have in your phone at this very moment. Okay. Here's how you're going to generate 5 closings in the next 180 days. Okay? What are our 3? How do we get people to do business with us? What are the 3 things to get people to do business with us? Know us, like us, trust us. Know us, like us, trust us. Okay? So now what you're going to do is you're going to reconnect. Because there's people in this list and these numbers that you've created, there are people on this list that you don't talk to in a minute. So you're going to have to reconnect. Okay? So suck it up, Buttercup. It's time to reconnect with some people in your phone. Okay? So you're going to reconnect. I told you're going to start at A and you're going to go to Z. You're going to call everybody in your phone. You saved their number for a reason. They're in your phone for a reason, okay? There's a strong likelihood they know you and you know them. You're 33% of the way there, okay? You're going to record in your CRM every conversation that you have as you go through this process, and I'm going to tell you, do not try to do too many, okay? Because remember, when overwhelm takes over, it releases cortisol, and when cortisol is released, we fight, we run, or we freeze. And so when the cortisol gets released, when you look at all these names in your phone and you're dealing with the fear of reconnection, you're dealing with the fear of having to talk to people you haven't talked to in a minute. I'm going to sound like an idiot. They're going to think I'm stupid. What am I going to say? Oh my gosh, I haven't seen this person in forever. And you get through that conversation and you generate enough courage to actually dial the number, okay? Then it's, okay, conversation good, done. Okay, woo, first one, right? But if you set yourself to do 10, 15, or 20 of that overwhelm will take over. And that cortisol will get released, and you'll take your phone, and you'll put it down, and you'll start scrolling Facebook because it's going to feel better. Okay? You're going to start looking at TikTok because it's going to make you feel better. You're going to need a little dopamine release to offset the cortisol release. Does that make sense? You ever do that? You ever get to something that feels really uncomfortable, so you'll get on Facebook and look a little bit to make yourself feel better? We all do that, y'all. It's like a baby blanket for us. And it sucks, but it's the truth. We've been so inundated with distractions for so long. Our kids are awful. I smacked my kid in the back of the head this morning on the way to school. I literally smacked him in the back of the head. He's 12. He had his nose like this the entire time, and I went, dude, look outside. Put your phone down. I'm telling you, it's awful. It's awful. Terrible. And we're giving our kids these phones. They'll do all this stupid stuff. Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much. Okay? Record. Why I only want you to do 5 or 10, whatever you're comfortable with, wherever you can stay on this side of the overwhelm, is because I need you to take notes. I need you to record what the conversations were about. You're going to ask questions about their dogs, their families, where they live, what their address is now, what are they doing for a living, blah, 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 blah. You're going to ask questions. You're going to have a conversation like you with somebody that you like. Okay? It's going to be like a first date all over again. Okay? But with no strings attached, right? Other than maybe at some point you can, unless you want some strings attached. I don't know. That's your deal. Rapport, okay? But every person you talk to needs to be in your CRM. They need to have a next action. They need to have another thing that you're going to do, a to-do that you're going to do the next time, okay? You need to set them up on a campaign. You need to set them up on a market report. Kevin's going to be able to share some things with you, and I'm going to give him some time here in a little bit. He can share some things with you that you can utilize his service and his company, Lending Hand Mortgage, that they can send market reports to them from time to time. The valuation of their house, because when somebody knows you're in real estate, what's the first question they ask you? What is it? How's the market? How's the market? When you say, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" Now, I build ships. What do you do for a living? I'm in real estate. Well, how's the market? That's always a question they're going to ask, right? You probably need to know how to respond to that, yes or no. Okay. Every person needs to have a next action. Every person needs to have a to-do, okay? Rapport. You're so good at this. Look at y'all. I look at you. You look at me in the eye. You smile. You're gregarious, okay? You enjoy life, right? We're laughing, cutting up, having a good time. So it's easy for you to build rapport until you put this in your hand. And then when you put this in your hand, you're like, I don't want to talk to anybody. Oh, my God, it's a snake. I think I'm just going to go get on Facebook. Okay, that's what we do. Do we not? You do. All of us do. I do it. I do it now. Okay? Rapport. If you're successful at building rapport, if you're successful at smiling in the conversation on the phone. When I worked that really crappy sales job I told you all about, every Monday night we had call night. From 5 at night to 9 at night. They gave us a stack of paper, and we just had to roll through them and call them, over and over, trying to set appointments. Okay? I put a mirror in front of my face because I promise you at about 7:30, after I'd heard no 25 or 30 times, I was really, really done. I don't like being told no. That's just not my, I know we all don't, but that's really not my personality style for somebody to tell me no. It really upsets me. But I put a mirror in front of me so I can see my face, because how you look is how you sound. And if you look crappy, you sound crappy. Okay? So I'll encourage you. Put a mirror up. What I do in real estate now, because everybody's on Facebook, and you're gonna be distracted on Facebook anyway, so you might as well use it for your business purposes, is I would search for that person on Facebook, see their picture, and then it made me feel more comfortable. Like if I can see their picture while I'm talking to them, now it's like talking to a person. Like I'm talking to a person, but now it helps me a little bit, right? So rapport. If you're successful at building rapport, here's your strategies for building rapport. If you're not good at it, practice this. Again, active listening, paying attention, not being distracted. You're in it for them, not in it for you, right? Empathy, authenticity, just being you, finding some common ground. It's the same thing you did. Guys, again, this is not rocket science. This is simple stuff you've been doing since you were 6 years old. Talking to people, looking them in the eye, finding common ground, finding people you like hanging out with and talking to. That's all this is going to be. And you're 66% of the way there to a transaction. Okay? Reliable. You've got to generate trust. That last 33% is the hardest 33%, y'all. I don't want you to think that it's easy. They always say that when you start climbing Everest, and I know a guy that's climbed Everest with one lung. He's climbed all the 7 summits and all 7 continents. The dude is an absolute superhero. You should look up his story. His name's Sean Swarner. He is an unbelievable dude, like unbelievable dude. But he got one of his lungs removed from childhood cancer. He's run an Ironman triathlon with one lung, climbed all these mountains with one lung. The dude's a superhero, like legit. I'll try to get him here so I can speak to y'all one time. He's a fantastic dude. Why am I saying that? Trust takes a long time. He talks about climbing this mountain. And the hardest part of the mountain is that last 15, 20%. They call it the death zone. That's the death zone. Like more people die in that last section of the summit than they die starting. Okay, because everybody's emotions and excitement and all that, the vigor they had to get up the mountain, it runs out at some point, right? And then when the oxygen gets thin, when there's not many people up there, that last 15, 20% is the death zone. Okay? Trust is that last 33%. It's the hardest 33% that you've got to traverse. This is where you being the authentic version of you makes all the difference in the world. Okay? All right. What do you say? You get it. We got numbers. You got deals in your phone right now. But what do you say? What is that conversation like? Okay? If you're new, you've been in the business less than a year, it could be just to reintroduce yourself to them. Maybe they don't know that you're in real estate, because I promise you, most people aren't paying attention to what you're doing, just by the way, right? So they probably don't know you're in real estate. So reintroduce yourself. Always provide value. How do you provide value in this business? Okay? Be a friend. Okay? Be somebody they can talk to. Tell them about their house. Tell them about their neighborhood. How much their home value has increased. Did you know about the neighbors down the street? Y'all, provide value. But reintroduce yourself. Make sure they have your correct contact info. Make sure you're not like, I'm not going to name her, but like an agent in this town who's been in this town for a long time, and she's 187 years old, but her picture looks like she's 45. There's one in Nashville who can't hardly speak English anymore because she's 183 years old, and her picture looks like she's 42 years old. And I promise you, I've been around a bunch of people in this business that I could walk up to them and I go, do I know you? And they're like, well, I just gave you my business card. I'm like, that's you? Okay, so make sure it's not so bad for me. I've looked like this for a long time. This is not going to change much. Okay, but make sure they have your correct info. Make sure they've got your right email addresses, your right phone numbers. Make sure they have your mobile business cards. I've got a mobile business card that Exit provides to you for free. Make sure they have that on their phone and they know how to use it and share it. Okay. You've been around for a minute, okay? You've maybe done business with them before. You've let them down because you've not stayed in contact. You've let them down because you've not valued that relationship. And now you're in the middle of this. You want to have a great conversation, but you're like, what do I say? Write this down. Forward. F-O-R-D. Okay? This is the conversation framework for you. People love to talk about who? Negative themselves. They love talking about themselves. That's what people love talking about, okay? And a way to get them to talk about themselves is you ask them about the things that are important to them, like family. What do you do for a living? What are you doing now? Last time we talked, you were doing this. Last time I think I had a conversation with you. And if it's been a minute, maybe apologize, okay? some things in my business have changed. I'm trying to get off on a new foot here and do some things a little differently that I've done in the past. When was the last time we talked you were doing this? Are you still doing the same thing? Okay. Occupation. Recreation. What do they do for fun? Your kids playing baseball. Is your daughter still dancing? Do you still have dogs? What happened to the ferret? You still have that ferret, right? The ferret died. What do they do for fun? And don't use the word dreams because dreams freak people out because most people don't. Most of us as adults don't dream anymore. Again, bad idea. You should be a big dreamer, big imaginer. Your imagination is your probably greatest superpower as a human being is your imagination. Don't ask them about their dreams. Ask them like what cool things they're going to do in the winter, where they're going to go in the summer. Okay. Y'all been to Disney World? No. You're going to go this, that, whatever. Okay. Bobby Jean, I'm going to tell you, don't get overwhelmed. You have 1,500 people that you got to call. Okay. That's a lot. I get overwhelmed. I go 5,400. I'll do it for 2 or 3 days, and I'll start calling them, and I get tired. I'm like, I'm never going to do this list. And if I feel like I'm not in charge, if I feel like I'm not going to be able to do it, if I think you're going to tell me no, I can avoid this altogether by what? Not doing it at all. Okay? And that's exactly where we get, do we not? Okay? So, don't get overwhelmed. Don't get overwhelmed. Small numbers. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Okay? Just 5 calls a day. I say this all the time. Y'all, if you don't hear anything else from me and you never see my face again, I never see you again. If you make 5 calls a day, 5 days a week, do that consistently 10 months out of the year, you'll make $300,000 in this business. Without a doubt, easy peasy. I've seen it happen over and over and over again. 5 unique conversations, 5 days a week, take off Saturday and Sunday. Do that 10 months out of the year, take off 2 months, you'll make over $300,000 in commission. The small things, seemingly insignificant things that we do consistently over time make enormous impacts. Okay? Make it achievable. 5 to 10 calls per session. Okay? Do you want to build customer loyalty? Do you want the people that you deal with, that you give your time to, that you sign these contracts with, that you help find these better stations in life? Would you love them to be loyal to you? Good gosh, yes. Because right now they're not. They are not. They are loyal to themselves. This business, Heather knows this as a broker, y'all are just as bad. Agents are just as bad. We're just on a planet where it's about us more times than it's not. So loyalty is just not something that there's a lot of that. Kevin, would you agree with that? Oh, yeah. Loyalty is something that is fantastically valuable if you can generate it. Okay? And you can absolutely blow your business out of the water if you can create loyalty. Okay? 83% of the homeowners that are surveyed said they only use their agent once. 13% would actually use their agent again if they could remember their name. The fortune for you is in your follow-up. It's in that 7 to 15 touches. It's you staying in contact. It is you doing what you said you were going to do at the beginning. It is you valuing the relationship over the commission. It is you putting yourself, your authentic, beautiful, wonderful, unique self in a position to help other people be better every single day. Every single day. 90% of buyers would use their agent again. Guys, 90%, 9 out of 10 would use you again if you'll just do your part. Just do your part. There's 2, and this is a little nugget I'm going to give you. We're almost done. I got 3 more slides. You want to make more money in this business without being God? Yes? Because the only way that you can do it right now is put more hours in your day. And none of you are God, and none of you can make more hours in your day. There's 2 ways to make more money in this business with the same effort that you have right now. Sell bigger houses for commissions or be more referable. Okay? If every single deal you do, right? Let's look at this. So year 1. What do we say? Year 1 average was about $8,100. But let's say you're a little better than that. You do 12 transactions a year. Okay? If you can just get a couple of referrals out of that 12 transactions, year 2, look how it increases. Out of year 2, out of those 18, because half of those gave you a referral, so now you did 18 deals. If that 18 deals, you get a little bit better, and 18 deals gives you 3 more. Now you're at 54 transactions. You think that income jump is pretty good? And you're not having to do a whole bunch of lead gen right here, because tell me how much Bobby G knows, Heather knows, when that phone rings, you don't recognize that number, and you answer the phone and say, hey, this is Aaron. And like, hey, Aaron, this is so-and-so. My friend down the street said you were the best real estate agent on the planet. And he said, I've got to use you. Ha! I'll be dang, let's do this, right? You're done. You're done, right? You know, you just got to walk over there, just put a smile on your face. Don't be an idiot, right? Just don't be dumb, and you're going to get that business, right? Those are fantastic. Guess what? Look at y'all. Y'all got excited about that. That's all of this. Would you like to have a whole bunch of those people calling you? Heck, yes. Okay? Heck, yes. 2 ways to make more business, more money. Sell bigger houses, okay? Be more referable. All right. This QR code is to me. I do coach. So I coach performance. I coach mindset. I coach leadership development. I coach culture development. I can help you with your business from A to Z. I've got some clients right now that I'm coaching. This QR code is going to put you, if you're interested in maybe having another conversation, 30-minute conversation about how I can maybe help you do what you're trying to do, just scan that code. We'll set up a call, have a conversation. If you like me and I like you, then we'll do it. If you don't like me and I don't like you, then we won't do it. So I'll leave it up there for a second. If you want to scan that, it takes you to my Calendly. And so on that Calendly, you can just pick a date that'll work for you, okay, if you want that. Everybody good with that one? This next one, this is our private Facebook group, DRG Nation. I used to, and I probably will crank this back up next year. So every morning, and it's going to stink for y'all, because when I'm in Tennessee, it's a 5 a.m. live call that I do every single morning. When I'm in Georgia, I get up at 6 and do it. I've kind of pushed it back in the summertime. But if you want to scan this, it'll take you to the link to DRG Nation. Join DRG Nation. I'll do some of those videos, some of those live calls in the morning, some motivational stuff in the morning to help. Sometimes I started these calls were started for our group because I wanted us to stay connected, because it was right after COVID. And so I do a 15, 20-minute call every single morning. That turned into a 45-minute call every single morning. But we saw our agent's business, just up and to the right, because they got up in the morning remembering that they were in the real estate business and got a little motivation, So if you want to join that, jump in that. And outside of that, man, I'm done. Where's the list I have?
It's right here.
Okay, perfect. Just leave it back there. I will send you a link to the Go Giver. Fantastic book, okay? Go for No, another fantastic book. 2 books that you've got to read, okay? Another book I will give you, a guy named Michael Maher, Maher, wrote a book called 7 Levels of Communication. Yeah, 7 Levels of Communication. Great book, great dude. Do you have any questions for me? I know I've kept you in your seats for an hour and 40 minutes, and I appreciate y'all taking notes and being in. Was this something you think is good? Is it helpful? Okay, perfect. Let me introduce you to Kevin Henderson.
I won't take long either because I know you're probably hungry.
Kevin brought lunch. That's really, really important thing.
Love the pink, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
I brought a couple flyers for you, but I didn't bring a whole lot. But the purpose of mine, I think in relationship, it has to be symbiotic. It has to be something that both of you are giving. And us as a lending company, I've been doing this for 22 years, and I feel like it's really important for someone to give back. So it's not just about closing loans, but it's also about giving back to you as agents, making your lives just a little bit easier, taking some of those things off your plate, whether it's marketing, whether it's lead gen, some of the things that we're talking about today, but creating that referable experience. Let's say you give a client to a lender and maybe